Yo, what's going on? This is Kurt and I'm back for another video. The topic of my video today is cleanliness is godliness. Cleanliness is godliness. Your third eye is a nose. Your third eye is a nose. So before I start the video, like I always do, I want to thank every single person that purchased the prayer and invocation class. I appreciate all the love that you guys showed me. So I want to talk about something. If you're in the occult, if you're in metaphysics, if you're metaphysics, occult, whatever, spirituality. We've heard about the third eye. What is the third eye? Awaken your third eye, the third eye vision. But the third eye has nothing to do with vision per se. The third eye is a nose. Your third eye is your nose. And I will explain to you how or why your third eye is a nose. So, life comes from the heart. Everything comes or stems from your heart. At least if you claim to be about spirituality, if you aim to be within the current of spirituality, it should start from the heart. So, first, your heart learns to live in a house of filth, of dirt. It accepts what is not pure, what is not clean, what is not right, and true to its own nature. So, in other words, your heart learns how to lie. Okay? And this is something that I teach in the prayer and invocation class. The more you tell the truth, the more your aura expands. The more you lie, the more your aura contracts. So now, then automatically your nose, which follows the directions and the dictates of your heart, becomes accustomed to smells and aromas associated with those putrid emotions and states that you dwell in. Now, let me give you an example. If you walk into a garbage disposal place, you can clearly see that it smells bad. So you won't stay put. You'll just leave. But what about when you walk into garbage friendships, garbage relationships, garbage situations? Most of us get caught in recurring dreams, recurring themes, recurring situations, recurring positions. Not because we can't see, but because we have made our hearts so hard by refusing to heed its impulses and its directions. Then, when your heart cannot take you out of there, your nose follows the directions or the default setting of your heart. So, if your heart tells you this is not good, this is not the right situation to be in, why are you there? Eventually, you're not listening to your heart. Your nose follows what your heart says. Then, when your heart won't take you out of those situations, your nose, which follows the directions of your heart, keeps you there, and there you are, surrounded by poor relations, surrounded by poor emotions that you actually might see in your dreams, in visions, even in readings. Yet you try everything to remove those people. You try everything to remove those entities, and it doesn't work. Why doesn't it work? Because here's the secret. Even if you wake up in a setting and you know that it is terrible, and you can see it visually, if you can't smell it, you'll never be able to get away from it. The eyes or your eyes depend on your nose, and the nose, which is your real third eye, depends on the dignity of your heart. Your heart is your esoteric nose, and your nose is your psychic third eye. The heart is the esoteric third eye, and the nose is the exoteric third eye. That's why when you take a spiritual bath, what do you think you're doing? You're cleansing yourself and your own aura. But for what purpose specifically? Well, all those imbalanced emotional choices that you made against your own self knowingly, for whatever reason, it becomes a stench on you. And then this stench becomes a veil under which entities that vibrate on the same frequency can hide. So, as long as you don't cleanse yourself, you won't reject that stench that is emanating from yourself. And when you can't smell it on yourself, how can you detect it on others in your home or in your own surroundings? Your third eye is a nose connected to the integrity of your heart. In Haitian voodoo, when you get a bath, the first thing they do, we call it sept mauvais feuilles. They bathe you with 7 leaves that smell very horrible. Why? So that they alert your God, or they alert your protection. Yo, there's something that smells bad. Be alerted. This is not supposed to be there. Then when that portion of yourself has been alerted, now they bathe you with 7 good leaves. Hey, this is the smell that we're going for. This is the smell that is in line with what the heart goes for. You smell like your thoughts, your feelings, your understanding. Remember the ladder that I gave you guys. Your understanding attracts your state of being. Your state of being attracts your emotions. Your emotions attract your thoughts. If you can detect a smoker, a drug abuser, a depressed person by the effects on their body that those things, those substances, and the places that they frequent have on their body, what makes you think that your internal emotional thoughts and habits don't create a detectable aura around you, or a detectable aroma, around you? Now, the thing about great smells, great aromas, and fragrances is that they trigger lightness, peace, calm, serenity, expansion, gratitude, versus bad smells. What do they create? Contraction. It's all the opposite. Depression, fear, anxiety, anger. So, your heart that is in a great place must bridge with those great smells to keep you in the company of great entities, great energies, great beings. But the problem is, this is not an outside to inside thing. This is from the inside out. So, great aromas can help you get there momentarily and for an instant, but it must first come from your heart. It has to be an in and out thing, and not you depending on external aromas. Because even if you smudge, you put the Florida water, lavender water, you put some incense resins, you whatever it is, those entities, for a moment, you'll trigger something in your own psyche and those entities will leave, but they'll come back. Why? Because your understanding, your states of being, your emotions, and your thoughts create the magnetism that attracts those emotions. So it has to be an in and out thing and not you depending on those external aromas. It might work for a few hours or even a few days, but those things come back because the magnet that attracts them is the heart that has yet to heal situations at their root. Therefore, your heart is your third eye. Your nose, or rather your heart, is your esoteric third eye. Your nose is your exoteric third eye. Meaning, when you follow your heart, when you follow the dignity of your heart, when you follow the path of integrity, not because anybody else is looking, not because you gain something from that, but because it's what your heart tells you and it's the right thing to do. Do you know why? Because no matter what you do that is invisible, it leaves a trace that is visible. No matter what you do invisibly, it will still leave a trace. You can detect when somebody has been abusing something. You can detect when somebody has been stressed. The organs, it might result in a sickness. It might result in this. It might result in that. Similarly, your deeds and the deeds of your heart and the purity of your heart will create a stench around you. And that stench is the baseline that attracts everything in your life. So you can be very clean externally, but that's almost like using a drug to get a high. Even though you're at your core, you're a rotten person, but you got the best perfumes, you go to the best spas, you got the best creams, you got the best aromas. Still, the stench, the filth that you have within will attract exactly what you are. That's why you must do good even when nobody sees. That's why you must be a stand-up person. You must be respectful even when nobody sees, because ultimately you're creating your own emotional body. You're creating your own aura even if nobody knows, because your life conditions will tell on you. Your relationships will tell on you. What state are you dwelling in? Who are your friends? So that's why you really need to be, you need to have integrity, not for anybody else. Literally, it's for your own good and it's for your own sake. So now, I want to give you guys a practice, a method. I've heard this story countless times. Oh, I broke up with this person. This person was awful. This person was, we weren't getting along, blah, blah, blah. They did this, they did that. They were abusive. And yet I can't stop dreaming about them. I tried this, I tried that, I tried this, and it's not working. And I'll tell you why. You're going to take a white candle. You're going to say, this white candle represents my nose, which is your third eye. Now, you're going to take this candle and you're going to, whatever oil, fragrance you want to put on it, it's up to you. Then you're going to say, I turn my nose towards the sun. What is the sun? Everything that has to do with the nose, everything that has to do with breathing, everything that has to do with automatic functions is ruled by the moon. Everything that has to do with conscious thought, everything that has to do with the awakened state is ruled by the sun. So you know perfectly, and you know very well that you don't want to be surrounded by those people. You don't want to be surrounded by this ex-girlfriend. You don't want to be surrounded by this ex-boyfriend. And yet you still see them. They still come around in the dream time. Why? It's because your nose hasn't been alerted of your wakened conscious or your wakened state resolution that comes from your heart. So when you turn your nose, you're actually turning the invisible aspect of yourself, and you're aligning it with the conscious aspect of yourself. And the sun regenerates, the sun purifies. So whatever was blocking your nose internally will now be purified, will now be burnt up, will now be regenerated by the sun, which is the symbol for your conscious state. And when you do that, whatever entity, whatever presence, whatever thing was bothering you will have to leave, because now your consciousness will have been augmented by that ritual. So your third eye is a nose. Your heart is your esoteric nose. Your third eye is your exoteric nose. Your nose takes commands from your heart. It follows the commands of your heart. It follows the directions of your heart. It follows the dictates of your heart. So if you are not following your heart, which automatically leads you to cleanliness, leads you to divinity, leads you to everything that is pure, everything that smells good, everything that is relaxing, everything that brings about joy, everything that brings about gratitude. If you're not doing that, unfortunately, you're shutting down your third eye. Your third eye has nothing to do with seeing ghosts and seeing demons and seeing dragons. That has nothing to do with that. How do I know? You have people that consume ayahuasca, mushrooms, or people that do certain rituals, and it's cool. They see a bunch of shit, but guess what? Their understanding is not up to par. Their states of being are not up to par. Their emotions are not up to par. Their thoughts are not up to par. Because when you're able to smell those people astrally, doesn't matter that they went to the most highest realms and they saw it doesn't matter, because ultimately your heart is a decision making organ. Your heart is a decision making organ. So eventually the way you're judged is not about what you saw, it's about what do you emanate, because what you emanate tells me your understanding. It tells me your states of being. It tells me your emotions. It tells me your thoughts. So it's not about what you see. It's about what you emanate. And the highest form of spirituality, if you go back to the so-called ancient temples, because I don't know if they were ancient for real. Anyways, but if you go back, what were they offering to the highest gods, the highest deities? They were offering them incense. They were offering them resins. They were offering them aromas. Why? Because when you're burning incense, when you're using aromas, when you're using fragrances, you're tapping into the consciousness of the being that is represented, for example, by the white copal or by the dragon's blood. You're tapping into their consciousness, and their consciousness is symbolized by the fragrance, by the pleasant fragrance of that thing. So that's what you're doing. 8 incenses, resins, smells, that's tapping into the power of the heart. Okay? So that's the video for today. Cleanliness is godliness. Your third eye is a nose. Your third eye follows the dictates, the directions of your heart. The more you tell the truth, the more you tell the truth, the more you're able to expand. The more you but guess what? Telling the truth is telling the truth to yourself and being honest with yourself, and being honest when there's no one looking, not because you're gaining anything from it, but because it's the right thing to do. Why is it the right thing to do? Simply the golden rule. You treat other niggas how you want to be treated. You know what I'm saying? So the more you treat yourself good by treating other people the way you want to be treated, the more what you emanate within doesn't contain anger, doesn't contain anxiety, doesn't contain stress, doesn't contain jealousy. You're not coveting anybody else's things. You understand the laws of nature, you respect the laws of nature, and you become an emanation of that. And then whatever you want, whatever you think you want, is at the tip of your hands. Why? Because you are the manifestation of what you're trying to quote unquote manifest. So that's the video for today. Peace.